It is MLB award season, and we are going to break down our thoughts on each candidate and who I believe will win. This time, we're going to go through the 2024 Rookies of the Year. What is going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast. And as I said, we're going to be breaking down the candidates for Rookie of the Year in both the American and National League. So we're going to start in the American League side of things, breaking down the three candidates. So we're going to start out really quickly going through those three, beginning with Austin Wells. Austin Wells, in my opinion, really solidified himself as the Yankees' everyday catcher in this 2024 season. For a good majority of the summer, he was the player that was protecting Aaron Judge. There's no doubt about it that this is a player that has a bright future for the New York Yankees. A left-handed power bat in the middle of the order is something the Yankees significantly needed over the last several years, and having that guy be the one to protect Aaron Judge in a very historic campaign in 2024 was Austin Wells. So it really lended himself to being able to find himself the top three finalist for Rookie of the Year. The second guy on that list is Colton Cowser. Cowser was the early favorite for this award, playing absolutely out of his mind, especially in the first half of the season for a very young upstart Baltimore Orioles squad. There's no doubt about it that things started to tail off for him at the tail end of the season, but this was a guy who absolutely put his stamp on the 2024 season for a very young and good Baltimore Orioles team. And the third and final candidate is that of Luis Gil from the New York Yankees. The right-hander was absolutely phenomenal for the New York Yankees at a time where they desperately needed it. With Garrett Cole being injured to begin the season and being pushed back several months into the year, the Yankees needed someone to step up and really fill that mantle of the ace-type pitcher from the staff, and Luis Gil did that perfectly. We're going to break down a couple of the stats for all three of these guys as we go through. In this 2024 campaign for Austin Wells, he had a 2.5 WAR with 13 home runs and 55 RBIs, hit a slash line of 229, 322, and 395 for an OPS of 718 and an OPS plus of 103. Now, for those that may not understand what those numbers mean, is that Austin Wells was just above league average, but he provided stability, especially given how well he works at bats behind Aaron Judge. One of the staples of the calling card, if you will, of the late dynasty for the Yankees in the late 90s was their ability to work at bats. We saw that play out very well for the Yankees in 2024 as well. When you have guys like Juan Soto and Aaron Judge that are consistently working to full count at bats, and then you had a guy like Austin Wells right behind that was also following that same mantra. This, to me, is what allowed the Yankees to get so much out of Austin Wells in his time as the cleanup hitter for the New York Yankees. With all that to be said, I still think that Austin Wells will likely round out the finalist order, coming in at number 3. Now, the number 2 in the American League bracket in terms of Rookie of the Year, I think will ultimately fall to Colton Cowser. Again, he had a tremendously hot start for a very young and up-and-coming Baltimore Orioles team, but I think that the late season fade really is what's going to play into his coming up just a little bit short for this award. When you look at his numbers, a 3.1 WAR for the season, 24 home runs, 69 RBIs, and a slash line of 242, 321, 447 for an OPS plus of 123, 23% better than league average. No doubt about it, Colton Cowser is going to be a perennial thorn in the side of every team in the American League East specifically, but ultimately this is going to be a guy who is going to be a consistent part of a very good, and again, I've emphasized this a couple of times now, but a young Baltimore Orioles team. And I think that that is what's really significant for this team, is having these young guys back-to-back years where you have that. In Gunnar Henderson a year ago, you now have Colton Cowser this year. And with the amount of time that Jackson Holiday did not play in the major leagues, I think that he's still going to be able to be seen as a rookie status player for 2025. And I think that that's going to be a big thing for him, that little bit of experience that he got. And we're going to see 3 years, in my opinion, with 3 Orioles in the finalists for the Rookie of the Year. Colton Cowser, ultimately, in my opinion, is going to fall to number 2, and that leads way to who I believe is going to be the American League Rookie of the Year, and that is Luis Gil. Without a doubt, the Yankees would not be in the position that they were in to close out the World Series with being one of the final 2 teams without Luis Gil. Yes, he got hurt in August and was missing a little bit of time there, but ultimately he was carrying this New York Yankees pitching staff and their rotation as their subsequent ace when Garrett Cole went down. And because of that, I think that Luis Gil is going to be the victor of this 2024 Rookie of the Year in the American League award. When you look at his number, 3.1 WAR for the season, 3.50 ERA in 29 games started, 151 and 2/3 innings with 171 strikeouts. There's no doubt about it that, to me, this year really was a true testament to what the Yankees pitching staff has been able to accomplish in terms of their coaches, Matt Blake most specifically. Having a guy who has just pure raw stuff be able to actually start to learn how to pitch this season. And I think that's what took him to this next level. I think that when you look at what the Yankees rotation is going to be a year from now, the experience that Luis Gil got by initially not making this team. Had it not been for the injury to Garrett Cole, Luis Gil probably would have spent the predominant time of his season in the minor leagues. But the injury to Cole really pushed this right-hander to the forefront, and ultimately I think it wins him Rookie of the Year in the American League. Now, as we switch over to the National League side of the 2024 Rookie of the Year award, I think there's a much more serious debate. I don't think that it's going to be a super tight race between Luis Gil and Colton Cowser. I do believe that Luis Gil is going to win that award relatively easily. I also think that the award is going to easily favor one person in the National League, but it should be a much, much closer race in my opinion, and we're going to break that down here. The 3 candidates for the National League Rookie of the Year are Jackson Chourio of the Milwaukee Brewers, Jackson Merrill of the San Diego Padres, and Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, we're just going to jump in and take a look at the stats really quickly here. When you look at what Jackson Chourio had been for the Milwaukee Brewers, there's no doubt about it that this player is absolutely going to be a phenomenal player for a very long time. So, in the 2024 campaign, 3.8 WAR, 21 home runs, 79 RBIs, 22 stolen bases, a slash line of 275, 327, 464 for an OPS plus of 117. Now, we also saw for Jackson Chourio that there was a point in time where he wasn't doing as well as we expected him to be able to do. Coming in with the contract that he got from the Brewers, the extension that he got to really keep him as a Milwaukee Brewer through the 2031 season, you knew going in there was going to be high expectations. A smaller market franchise investing the kind of money that they did in this player early before ever stepping on the field in a major league game. You knew that he was going to be facing some adversity, taking such a big leap, taking on the pressure of being the face of this organization. And ultimately, through the end of the season, this player absolutely put on a show. And Brewers fans can be extremely excited about what the future can hold for their young outfielder. I think that when you look at what happened with Jackson, with the slow start to begin the season, that is going to be what holds him back to the number 3 spot, in my opinion. There's no doubt about it. This player on any other season without some of the stiffer competition that he faced in the other 2 finalists for this award, he easily could have won Rookie of the Year in some of the previous campaigns. But going up against the bitter battle that he is going to have to face against the other two competitors for this finalist award is no doubt about it why he's going to finish third. When it comes to that second place finish, in my opinion, it honestly is a coin flip between Jackson Merrill and Paul Skeens. I think that ultimately Jackson Merrill is going to find himself as the number 2 candidate, the silver medalist, if you will, for this award. But there's no doubt about it. If you look at the stats and just the sheer volume of what Jackson Merrill was able to do for the San Diego Padres, coming in, playing center field, a position he never played professionally, having been a shortstop his entire professional baseball career, being thrusted into the outfield in an everyday role for a team that it was built on shortstops. Every single player basically on the roster for the San Diego Padres in 2024 was a shortstop. Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field, shortstop. Jackson Merrill in center field, shortstop. Jurickson Profar left field, shortstop. Manny Machado third base, shortstop. Xander Bogaerts got moved to second base, shortstop. Ha-Seong Kim, shortstop. So when you go through this roster, it was littered with shortstops. So obviously Jackson Merrill had to make a move. They moved him to center field and he played it beautifully. When you look at what the numbers were for the final totals in 2024, a 4.4 WAR, 24 home runs, 90 RBI, 16 stolen bases, a slash line of 292, 326, and 500 slugging, an OPS of 826 and an OPS plus of 127, 27% better than league average. In my opinion, Jackson Merrill should be the National League Rookie of the Year for 2024. I don't think that he's going to win the award. Ultimately, I do think that it is going to go to Paul Skeens because of the overwhelming force that he was in this season. But I think that Jackson Merrill starting and playing the entire year for the San Diego Padres should merit so much more as an everyday player. Obviously, that goes into the philosophy of the way that I believe that awards should go, but no doubt about it, and no knock on Paul Skeens because I'm about to give him his flowers on this video. But when you think and when you look back to the fact that Jackson Merrill played 156 of 162 games for the San Diego Padres, essentially playing every single day. He was an all-star. He won a Silver Slugger in 2024. This, to me, should be the National League Rookie of the Year for the 2024 season. No doubt about it, this is going to be an incredible player for years to come, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for the San Diego Padres now center fielder. Now, I say all that to say this: Paul Skeens is an absolute monster. He is a beast, and there's no doubt about it that this is, if he can stay healthy, that is going to be the biggest caveat of all of this. If Paul Skeens can stay healthy, I believe he can go down as one of the top 5 right-handers in Major League Baseball history. Yes, that might sound hyperbolic to say, that might sound super exaggeratory to say so early in his career, and it is going to be predicated on health because we just saw this with Steven Strasburg. Strasburg came up with the same kind of fanfare, the same kind of fury in the arm, and ultimately could not hold up. Just now retiring, having this whole issue with his contract with the Nationals and all that. If Paul Skeens can stay healthy, this is going to be one of the greatest right-handed pitchers we have ever seen. When you look at his numbers, 11-3 record, obviously wins for pitchers, it's a whole nother discussion. 5.9 WAR in 23 starts, 1.96 ERA in 133 innings with 170 strikeouts, a whip of .947, walks and hits per 9 innings pitched of less than 1. This type of dominance is not something you see on a regular basis. And again, no knock on what he was able to accomplish, even though I think that Jackson Merrill should be the winner. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Paul Skeens is going to easily run away with this award. What he was able to do for the Pittsburgh Pirates when he came up and started making start after start after start was dominant. He was absolutely dominant. It's no lie, no secret that I'm a Yankee fan, and watching what Paul Skeens did to the top of the Yankees lineup when Pittsburgh came to New York in the closing month of the season was mesmerizing to watch. being able to go through a red-hot Gleyber Torres at that point, who was leading off for the Yankees, the generational one, Juan Soto, and the clear-cut favorite, in my opinion, for the MVP in the American League. Paul Skeens ran through them as if they were nothing. And that, to me, is absolutely an incredible feat. There's no doubt when you look at what this player is capable of, again, health is going to be the biggest factor for his success. The old adage of the best ability is availability, that is never more true than with a player like Paul Skeens. But if this guy can go out there and pitch and be healthy, he is going to dominate. ERA plus, especially given the amount of time that Paul Skeens pitched in the major leagues. Again, 133 innings is not necessarily a small sample size. Obviously, you want to see more of a track record for this player, especially second, third time teams seeing him, to be able to kind of get a little bit more of a book on him. But for the 2024 season, he had an ERA plus of 2.14. 100 is league average, 114% better than league average in his showing of his 133 innings of his 23 starts. Paul Skeens is going to be an absolute phenomenal beast in Major League Baseball as long as he can stay healthy. And I think that for this year, he is going to win the 2024 Rookie of the Year award in the National League. But I want to hear from you, baseball fans. Let me know your thoughts, your feelings on the National League and American League Rookies of the Year for 2024. Let me know if you agree that Paul Skeens and Luis Gil are going to be the recipients. If you agree with me that I think that Jackson Merrill should have won the award over Paul Skeens, let me know your thoughts on that. If you think and want to make a case for Colton Cowser, Austin Wells, or Jackson Chourio, let me know that down in the comments as well, and we can chop it up there. As always, make sure, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to this channel, as we're going to continue bringing you more content each and every single week throughout the offseason and the regular season for 2025. There's a lot more content coming, so hit that bell to be notified each and every time we drop new content here. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.